This tutorial is about how to use the 3D visualization option in looking at results of the simulation runs in the 2D, 3D grid display utility. When we start off that program, we are able to obtain a 2D picture. So let's open a run file that we have run in the samples folder, and we can open up the selection parameters form, and then let's pick out, say, water saturation towards the end of the run, for example, and we would see a 2D picture of the water saturation distribution in the grid cells. If you wanted to show a 3D picture, you go display, 3D window, 3D, and then you could not find a 3D file with the same name as this program, this data set, and it finds other 3D files, and this could be exactly the same shape as this model, and provided it's exactly the same shape, same number of grid cells, you can use that 3D file. Otherwise, you would have to generate a new 3D file. So you would go to Preprocessor and opening up that same data set in the samples folder. You want to use this option, create .3D file, to create a file name with the same root name .3D. If we did that, we create a 3D file, and this is the name, we save it, and then we can close that form. So now if we go and display 3D, you read that .3D file is exactly the same name, and come back and ask you the option to show what size of model that we want to show. This is the full range of the model, all cells. We could choose to show smaller sections, say layer 1 or layer 2 or layer 3, or given rows or columns. Let's say in this case we're going to show the entire model. So we're going to say okay, let's process that, and this comes up with the 3D picture. Now if you've seen the tutorial on the preprocessor 3D visualization, you would know that now if to move the picture around, hold the left mouse down and move the mouse around, right mouse would scroll, would zoom in and out the picture, and shift would move the picture left or right. So that is some of the keys, and also make it cells invisible. Again, the same like in the preprocessor, using the point pick from, pick to, and making cells invisible. In this tutorial, I will also show you in window. Just like in preprocessor, you can have multiple windows, and if I open a window that is the pressure window, and say somewhere towards the end of time, I would have a second window, and if I were to look at my 3D picture, I will see that my 3D picture reflects the current window. If I click on this one, my 3D picture shows the current window, whatever the current window is. Okay. So we can animate through time, either from this menu option here, or from this menu. It's identical menu option. So we can select the time, maybe somewhere around this point in time, and we see both windows to synchronize. If you didn't want to synchronize it, you can choose to say update this 3D window only, so it doesn't synchronize anymore, and then you can animate. This doesn't synchronize. Okay. So we got other options here. For time, we want to look at the 3D display options. In 3D display options, we have options to show the grid cells, and the grid cell range currently for the entire set of cells, we're going to show this regardless of the value, but we can also filter it based on value too. So if I, for example, if I look at the water saturation picture, and in the water saturation picture, close that and display that again. In the water saturation picture, my range for cells is 0.275 to 0.643. So if I say I want to look at cells only from 0.5 to 0.7, for example, okay, the process, I will show only the range of cells from 0.5 to 0.7. and make it 0.4. Okay, I can see 0.4, the range of cells 0.4. Okay, I can reset it back to blank and blank, and it shows me the entire range of cells. I can make it somewhat transparent by saying grid opacity is 0.5. Okay, the process is semi-transparent. You can see inside the model. If you really want to see inside the model, we can use, let's make this one first. And use surface contours. Surface contours would color the shape, the cells. And we can say 5 contours and equal number of contours from that to that range. Okay, the process, and these are the surface contours as opposed to surface cell values. So if we animate, select a time, for example, this time, and animate, you can see the contours changing in the animation of it. Okay. So if you also want to look at internal 3D contours, we choose this option, internal 3D contours of these values. Okay, the process, we can see these are the internal 3D contours. Let's go and select a time, an earlier time, and then we can choose to animate that. You can see the internal contours inside the model. And okay, we can show grid headers. So let's show headers. Okay, the process, and we can see the IJK headers. We can show lines joining the cells. There will be lines showing where the cells are. We can also pop up. We can remove let's remove the well names, and we can pop up production barrels. So we can pop this up and it shows production barrels. We can change the diameter. Let's say we're going to make this say 40 and the height is say 300. And if you do animate, time, select time, and let's start from earlier time and animate. You can see the barrel. So the bigger the barrel, the more production, and the types of barrels that we can see as the oil production, water production, gas production, water injection, and gas injection. So typical convention: green for oil, blue for water, red for gas, for the production and injection. So the production injection. If we wanted to, we can also show 2 views of this 3D picture. And say, okay, the process, and now we have 2 views of the 3D picture. Same parameter, but 2 different views of it, so we can move them in separately. I can have surface cell values, okay. And this is surface cell values. And one view has a picture of the barrels, the other does not have. I can turn it off. And both pictures then have the same. Okay, thank you for your attention.